Hello there. My name is Sherri Simpson. I'm a transformational life coach. I do Akashic record readings and tarot card readings. And I am surrounded by different decks of tarot cards at the moment because I am starting a Learn to Read Cards 6-week course tomorrow in a private Facebook group. It starts October 1st. And for those of you who are interested in joining or who are not interested in joining, I wanted to share some information with you about how do you choose a deck. So I'm going to go over some of the decks that I have, and I will share a little bit of information about them, and then I'll show you how to clear and reprogram a deck for you to begin with. So let's see, where do we want to start? Let's start with the Archangel Deck. So Doreen Virtue is someone that I have seen in person, and I follow her work. She has some amazing meditations. There's one that I shared the other day that's fabulous. It releases cords and past lives, calls in the archangels, and also balances your chakras. And that one, I have it as a link. It's bit.ly/D, capital V, capital A, and then NGELS, so DV Angels, bit.ly/DV Angels. It's a fabulous meditation. If you're interested in that, I will put it in the description. So this is an Archangel Oracle deck, and Oracle cards were created because the tarot cards seemed kind of challenging to get to learn. They also seemed kind of dark and kind of scary for people. So many people took the tarot decks and made Oracle decks. And so Oracle cards don't necessarily follow the whole traditional major arcana, minor arcana, 4 different suits. They don't follow that, but they have the same sort of concept about them. They're still divination tools. They still work fabulously. So most of the decks that you buy, a lot of mine I've bought at places like Chapters or Indigo or any of the bookstores that you go to that might also have things like this. You can buy them from metaphysical stores, and some bookstores will sell them. Like some regular bookstores, not the big monster bookstores. Each of them comes with a book, and the book gives you examples about each card and how to read each card. And also, and I don't necessarily follow that because I did when I first started learning, but usually your spirit team is coming in to share with you about the information that they want you to know that you've asked for. And so reading the book is not necessarily the way to go. If that's how you do it, your spirit guides will know that, and they'll instill an inspiration into you to read the book. So that could be the way that it goes for you. So let's take a look at this Archangel card deck. This is Doreen Virtue's Archangel card deck. These are the cards. Very good quality, and you can see they're quite colorful. And Archangel Jophiel, Archangel Raphael, Archangel Metatron, Archangel Jophiel again, Archangel Azrael, Archangel Sandalphon. There are different cards that have words on them. They all have a little message from each of the archangels. Be very gentle with yourself at this time. Surround yourself with gentle people, situations, and environments. So what you would do if this was your deck is literally, what I do is shuffle them. And when I am pulling cards, sometimes they come through in reverse, and you want to decide whether you're reading reverse or not. What I do is ask myself yes or no questions when I'm pulling cards, and I say, is this my card? Is this my card? Like, is that my card? I got a yes. So this is the card I'm going to show to you. And it is the Peace card. Fabulous. This is Archangel Shamuel. So this is the Peace card. And this is an interesting card. So the way that I read cards, the Archangel is sending a dove into the past, which makes me think it's healing things that have come before so that you can create peace in the now and peace into your future. And the message here says peace comes from remembering that only love is real. So if you were to get this card, one of the things I would recommend you do is to actually call in Archangel Shamuel. How do you call in an archangel? You say, Archangel Shamuel, please come to me now. Please surround me with peace and serenity and love. And then you just await that in a form of meditation. So that is the Archangel deck by Doreen Virtue. There are 45 cards and the guidebook in this particular deck. Let's move to the Animal Wisdom deck. So this is Dawn Bronke's deck. This is kind of a bigger box, and it opens up in a different way. And it does come with a guidebook. And this is more of a traditional tarot rather than an oracle deck. And it's very vibrant. I really do appreciate that the pages are all in colors. And you can see when you go through that they're separated by color on the pages. So this one is blue because it is the shells. This one is red because it's associated with the fire. The other one was yellow because it was associated with feathers. So those are the 4 different traditional suits in terms of animal wisdom. So I'm going to show you those cards. They look like this. And let's just pull one for you here. So when I'm shuffling, I usually shuffle them like you would like this or like this. These ones are a little bit big to shuffle this way for my hands. And you can also do the regular shuffle like you would like this and then pull them together. And again, when I am shuffling, sometimes people will just put the cards down and they'll split them into stacks, and then they'll actually put their hands over one and feel if one has heat. And for me, I just usually shuffle and wait for something to pop out. And if something pops out and I get a no, I just put it back in and wait until I get the card. And then to determine whether it should be in the upright position or in the reverse position, I will just ask myself, am I reading this in reverse? So I would just ask if that was the card and I got a no. Nope. So I'm trusting my intuition here to actually bring me the card that is meant to show you. And you want to do that yourself. And you get better and better at that. And that's one of the reasons I really love cards as a divination tool, because it helps you tap into your intuition. It helps you connect into your guide team. That one. So the card that we got, oh, the pelican, and I got to know that it's not in reverse. So the pelican is the 6 of feathers card. The pelican is in the water. There are 6 feathers around it. It is catching a fish. It looks like a beautiful day. And I'm going to tap into the book to share whatever this is for you. I don't use this deck that often, so let's read a little bit of this. There is quite a lot of information in this deck, and I'm going to show you the book again just so that you can see it. Where did I put that? I have no idea. Oh, I'm holding on to it. See that? So this is the book that came with it. And it's called the 6 of Swords. So traditionally, swords is one of the different groups of cards. And this is an air element, obviously, because it's feathers. It's associated with air. This says travel, journey, acceptance, breakthrough, and realization. It says gliding gracefully, pelican sails toward calm waters. 6 of feathers suggests a journey or a desire to get away and leave emotional turbulence behind. 6s are often about the female aspect of things. They're often about water, which is very interesting that the pelican is in the water, even though it is a bird. And they're usually about nurturing and nourishment. Although escape solves nothing, a voyage offers distance and relief, a means to heal and time to learn. An expert traveler, pelican adapts to new situations and welcomes opportunity. This is one of the interesting things about the cards, because then you get to dig into the actual animals, and then when you see animals out and about, you have more sense about what that animal means for you. I also love, I'm going to bring this in as well, I also love to use Dr. Stephen Farmer's pocket guide, so his spirit animal guide, and when I see a deer or when I see a spider or a rat or whatever it is, then I will often look that up and see what the message is, especially if I've seen it more than once or if it's really obvious and loud for me. So I'm not going to read this whole thing, but it says release the need to do and open to the wonder of being. So basically get into a place of enjoyment, get into a place of being and nurturing yourself. So that is the Animal Wisdom Tarot deck. So when you are in a place like chapters, often they will have decks for you that you can actually open up and play with. I am challenged buying them online, but sometimes online they'll actually let you, or they'll actually show you images. So what I like to see is cards that are vibrant, because to me that brings in the chakras. I like to have symbols in them. I like them to be filled with information for me to draw upon, so that I can get the information that I believe is meant for me when I'm reading cards or is meant for others. So let's go to a numerology deck. So I do love numerology. This is from Michelle Buchanan, and it does come with a book. One thing about this book is I really wish that they had actually done them in color. They do a lot of descriptions in this, and I'll show you the deck. So this is the numerology deck, and this is what the cards look like. So this is the time out card, which was just on the bottom of the deck. Many people who read tarot actually do put the deck aside and then read the bottom of the deck as further information. I'm going to pull a card for you from the numerology deck. Many people will actually use a tarot deck or a specific oracle deck. Like I will often use John Holland's decks, and I'll show you those next. And then when you're looking for more clarity or more information or more wisdom, then that is when, I'm getting no on both of those, that is when I would pull in the numerology deck, or I would pull in the Mudra deck or the Archangel deck and use it as clarification or as something to help people move forward and call in guidance. That was a no, so I just took it out of the deck so I don't have to shuffle it. That was a no as well. Sometimes it, ooh, there we go, that's the card. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time. Oh, interesting. So this card is the leadership card, and you can tell that this is a certain color and this is a certain color. The leadership is basically about what 81 is, and 8 is about confidence and personal power and abundance, and 1 is actually about stepping into your own independence and your own individuality. And when you take these together, it's about ending a cycle. So when I see this card, I actually think about stepping into your sacral chakra, stepping into that place of being creative, about being manifesting, about connecting with the people closest to you, doing it from a place of power, of purpose, and doing it from your place of independence. And then when I look at this, this is pink, and this calls to me about the heart chakra and actually loving yourself. So when you're leading other people, it's as though you want to lead from a place of love. You want to lead from a place that fills you, that empowers yourself and allows you to step into your own independence in order to create a new way of being. So that's all that I read from that card. The next deck that I wanted to share with you, let's go through the John Holland decks. So John Holland has 2 different decks that I have. I love his Psychic Tarot for the Heart deck, and I'll show you the box. He also has the 7 main chakra cards in his, which I love, and his are more traditional tarot, but kind of like oracle cards. The back of the deck, they look like this. And I'm going to show you this one here because the bottom of the deck is the Master card. All of his cards that are the major arcana cards relate to, they're numbered 0 to 21, so there's 22 cards, and they're about major issues in life, major changes and major transitions. Deciding to go to school, deciding to quit your job, deciding to move houses, move countries, things like that would be major arcana things. And so this particular card is about mastering the heart. And you can tell there's a lot of green in this. This is about mastering your own heart in order to create a sense of love and unconditional love in others. And he really does look like he's wearing some kind of a taekwondo or some kind of a self-defense or like a taekwondo or a karate, some sort of cape or I don't know what they're called. I've never actually done that kind of self-defense, but it does look like he has a black belt in this, and he looks like he's very capable, and that's about you calling in, and he's protecting his heart. You can tell that currently it's behind bars, so it's as though he wants the energy to shine through from his heart to help other people, but he needs to master his own heart. And this is a 1-5 card, a 15 card, and 1 is about independence, and 5 is about change. And so 5 is change and transformation, and when you actually bring the 1 and the 5 together in terms of numerology, they add to a 6. And the 6 is really nurturing, and it's really going within, and it's really nourishment. So that's part of the John Holland deck. I'm going to shuffle these and pull you one more. when I am doing, I do 1 card a day for 15-day card pulls for people. And when I'm doing those, I often use the John Holland deck. Oh, very interesting. So this is the 9 card. It is about resting and reconsidering. And today is the last day of September. So it's like the end of the September cycle. And so it is a day of rest. It's a Sunday as well, which is usually a day of rest. So 9 is about endings. It's about changing the way things are so that a new beginning can happen tomorrow on the 1st of the month. He is definitely, she is actually high on the cliff. She looks like she is above the world and off in a place on her own, but she doesn't look sad. She looks like she has a fire or something around her, or there's some light that is shining down over her head. And it does look like a beautiful sunny day. So she is just relaxing there in her own solitude and reconsidering things so that she can change and transform what is going to be her next step. So our next step tomorrow into October will be about change and transformation and new beginnings as well. So that is the John Holland for the Heart deck. He also has a regular Oracle deck, which is, he calls it Psychic Tarot, and he calls it an Oracle deck because, like I said, he sort of combines them very well. And its deck is purple. It looks like this. I'm going to shuffle those for you as well. So you can see that there's many different kinds of decks. If you go into a store, you kind of want to have an idea of what is drawn to you or what you're drawn to, because there's fairy decks and there's angel decks and there's archangel decks and there's unicorn decks and there's regular tarot, there's traditional tarot decks, there's all kinds. One of the ones I'm going to show you in a minute is the vice versa. One's fantastic. Part of the Learn to Read Cards course for me, my intention is to really get into this deck as I'm sharing for others how to read cards and how to read tarot, because it's a challenging deck because it's double-sided. Let me pull a card here from John Holland first and we'll get to that one. So I got to know that it's not in the reverse position. And this is a beautiful card. It is the number 2 card, which is called the Wishing Game. And so this is really interesting because you can see that the sands of time are there. You can see that the tree is growing in the top, and you can see that the root system is down in the bottom. This is interesting because for me, I like to teach people how to grow a tree root system from the bottoms of their feet and connect it into the earth, deeper and wider and deeper and wider, and then to draw earth energy into them. So this waiting game makes me think that he's waiting for the time in order to actually cultivate what he wants. The number 2 is usually about the sacral chakra. It's usually about your closest relationships, what you're choosing to create and manifest. And it usually has to do with abundance that is above and beyond what it is that you need for actual survival. So he is waiting for the sands of time to be precise or perfect for him in order to take actions. So what I often teach people is that your spirit guides can bring you information, your angels can bring you information, your higher self can provide information, and then what happens is you call in inspired actions to take. And if you're really in cohorts or co-creation with your team, then it's as though you know that you're supposed to wait for a certain time, and you keep asking, is it time yet, is it time yet? And then suddenly it's as though timing feels perfect. And sometimes it's like within an hour, and sometimes it's in a few days, or sometimes it's in a few weeks. But suddenly you have all the inspired actions that you need to take. So I get the sense that this is about waiting for perfect timing. October is going to be one of those months where things are actually more active and new beginnings are happening. So I get that October is going to be very beneficial for many of us in closest relationships, in what you're creating, in abundance, as well as in things that you're desiring to manifest into your actual physical reality. So that was the Psychic Tarot by John Holland Oracle deck. So let's move on to the Vice Versa Tarot deck. So this is more of a traditional tarot deck. It's a very interesting box because it actually opens. I love that it actually has the magnet on the side, and it opens up and the cards were actually inside, and it has its own deck. It has its own book that comes with the deck, and it's big. and it's very vibrant and colorful, which I love. The Vice Versa Tarot is in Roman numerals rather than actual numbers. The cards that are the major arcana are set up with full pages like this, and then once you get into the suits, as you get into the minor arcana, they're actually set up to show you what the fronts and the backs are, and so they're set up as two on a page. So the cards look like this. This is a card I pulled for myself yesterday, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. I like this. This is about a man who is now getting into the power and control of his own money and how to create it and how to spend it and how to receive it and manifest it. And the back of this card, usually the reverse side is from a different perspective. Sometimes they are day and night. Sometimes they are, you can see this one is when the sun, it looks as though the sun is coming down, but it might be going up. But this one is actually when the moon is up. This is a picture of a gentleman here who you can see the front of him, and this is nighttime and you see the back of him. So you can tell what I mean by the Vice Versa Tarot being more complicated. And there are no words on here, so for me, I need to know what this card is. So it'll be amazing as I'm teaching the Learn to Read card course over the next 6 weeks for me to tap into learning this. And I'm setting the intention that everyone else has their own intention for what they want to learn. This is a very interesting card as well. You can see the horse that it's riding, and then here it's actually riding in the other direction. So this is really a fabulous deck, and I purchased this one online rather than actually buying it in person at a store. And one of the last decks you've seen before, if you've watched any of my work, is the Mudra Deck. And I like to pull these on Mudra Monday, and the cards are a single color that each have a mudra on them. Let's show you the integration card. That's a good one. So I haven't pulled one of these yet for tomorrow, so I will do that and post it. But they also have information on the back of them. So let's look at this. This is the Energized Mudra. It is number 29, and it gives you the Prana Mudra, so that is about creating vital life source energy. And I look at the back of it. The back of them has information about what the card means, how it assists you, what element it is, instructions for using it, and what to focus on. So this particular mudra is about, I offer my energy and optimism as a gift to others. It's about vitality, it's about uplifting, and it's about energizing yourself and others. So those are all the decks that I have for you. I'm going to show you now, once you've picked a deck or a couple of decks, what you actually do with them. So I'm going to use John Holland's Psychic Tarot card deck, his Oracle deck. So what you would do when you first get a deck, regardless of whether you bought it used, whether you got it from a store, wherever it came from, you want to put it in your non-dominant hand, and you want to take your dominant hand and you want to actually tap the energy out of it. And that just asks any energy that is in it to be cleared. And that what you want to do is call in an intention. So what I normally ask is that the wisdom comes through my higher self and my spirit guides. It comes through divine truth, divine love, divine wisdom, divine abundance, divine light, and divine love. And everything that is of and relating to all of those things is infused into the cards. And I think about that. Sometimes you can create a symbol. So if I see that, I might see it as a heart that has all different colors of the 7 chakras in it. And I might see that as the 7 chakras looking kind of like a heart that's made of a rainbow. And that's how I'm just envisioning it all of a sudden. So what I'm going to do is actually infuse that heart rainbow into every single one of these cards. And what I'm doing is literally just touching every single card and asking them to be infused with that heart energy of divine love, divine light, divine truth, divine wisdom, divine abundance, everything included and surrounded for the highest and greatest good of all, including myself and whoever I am reading for. So you want to touch every single card. And then what you really want to do is actually shuffle them, and you want some of them to be upside down and you want them to be out of order. So you can actually like put them on the table and you can mix them all up and you can move them upside down and you can shuffle them really good, and you can keep doing that until you get to a point where it feels like that's enough. Some people will actually store them in silk, or they'll store them in in felt or in something that feels really good in order to keep them safe. And what I usually do is just put them back in the boxes, because to me, it's as though I'm keeping the energy contained within them, and that gives me the sense that the energy in the room is not actually being infused into the cards, and then I have to clear them less often. You might want to clear them if other people are touching them. You might want to clear them if an event or an experience or something has happened in the house or the room around you, so that you're starting with a clear deck. I think that's about all I have for you today. So I'm hoping that was helpful. Now that you know how to choose a deck and to clear a deck, then in the course I'm going to be teaching about some of the different card layouts or card spreads that you can use. I'm going to go through every single one of the cards, including the chakras. I'm going to talk about the things that I read in cards, and then infuse in the people who are taking the course to tap into their own intuition and wisdom. So for me, when I look at this, this is Passion Ignited, which is a great card for October, because it is, it's the 10th month. It's a 1 in energy. The 0 is usually about innate gifts and talents that actually accentuate the 1. This 0, or this fire ring around her, makes me think that there is new beginnings happening, that we're actually burning the past and igniting new things into our future beginning in October. She looks extremely happy, and there's a lot of dark blue and purple around her, which makes me think she's tapping into her intuition. She's got the fire in front of her heart, which makes me think she's burning up anything that she doesn't need and expanding her passion and her ability to love herself and others. And she's very independent and confident in herself. So that's how I would read this card. So I would read it based on the chakras. I would read it based on her smile, whether it's a male or a female, what shapes are in the card. She has her hands over top of her, it looks like her solar plexus chakra, so she's tapping into her confidence and personal power as well. And it's as though her energy is in a circle within her, as well as the energy of fire being in a circle around her. So that's how I would read the card. And so I would instill in those of you who are pulling cards for yourself to really tap into, what does this mean to me? What does this look like? What does this feel like? Most people are really wanting to read the book, and I know I really did at first when I started doing this as well, because I thought that I was going to do it wrong. And that's the one thing you want to tap into, is your confidence in reading cards when you do this, that it's not about being right or wrong, because everybody who reads this card is probably going to read it a little bit differently, and that's totally cool, because your spirit guides are trying to give you a different message than the message that I'm getting. So have fun with cards if you have them. If you don't have cards, Colette Baron Reed has some free ones that you can download as an app on your phone. One of the ones that I like is the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. So you can look up Wisdom of the Oracle Divination by Colette Baron Reed, and that is a free deck that you can use. I think there's probably 2 or 3 different card spreads. One of them is a 1 card, or there's a 3 card, and there's a 5 card spread. And so that's an interesting way to do it as well. And when you're picking, or when I am picking cards on an app, I'll do the same thing. I'll swipe and I'll keep getting a no and a no and a no and a no until I get a yes. And I'm like, that's it. And then you can read the card. She shows you a picture of it. And she also shows you a picture of the words that are associated with it. She relates it to, I think, career as well as money or prosperity. So there's different ways that you can look at each card as well. So if you don't actually want a deck, or if you don't have a deck, you can download that app from the, I'm using an iPhone, so that's how I downloaded it from the Apple Store. But that is lots of information for you about different card decks and how to program them for yourself and how to begin pulling cards. So if you are interested in joining the course, you can message me or find the links in the details. And I will look forward to sharing you more information with you soon. Namaste.